start with news of a multi-agency mission in Hays County resulting in the arrest of
Took
more
place
than
over the weekend when officials did detain about 150 people.
At 4:03 a.m., America jolted awake. What was supposed to be a routine surveillance operation suddenly erupted into a multi-state blitz. Federal agents simultaneously stormed warehouses, apartments, and offices across Texas and California. Within seconds, quiet neighborhoods became assault zones. Armored vehicles sealed off streets, doors exploded under breaching rams, and the night split open with shouted commands. Investigators say they haven't seen an operation of this scale in years. According to federal intelligence, a shadow network had been operating in the dark, run by the fictional Venezuelan cartel La Corona del Oriente, an organization that fused weapon smuggling, technical components, and lethal substances into a single unified system. Each facility was capable of hiding a shipment powerful enough to wipe an entire city off the map. And this morning, for the first time, that machine faltered. The strike hit two critical hubs, the industrial zones of El Paso, Texas, and Riverside, California, where the cartel had spent years constructing its so-called technical corridors. Here, near cargo ports and interstate highways, stood the disguise warehouses, outwardly ordinary logistics centers, but inside, conveyor lines pumping illicit goods through the system. Intelligence confirmed that some of these sites moved up to 1,900 technical module kits per week, which in reality were disassembled weapons components ready for rapid assembly. The raid spanned 2 states, 3 cities, and more than a dozen targets, making it one of the largest blows to smuggling networks in recent years. For the cartel, these weren't just storage points. They were arteries carrying money, weapons, and influence. That is why federal forces chose to strike simultaneously, deeply, and decisively, collapsing the entire logistical system in a single coordinated hit. The investigation that led to today's operation began almost by accident, with an anonymous report about suspicious activity at a private cargo terminal in San Diego. At first, it looked like a minor customs violation, but when HSI analysts checked a series of shipping manifests, they discovered that several unrelated companies were using the same routing codes normally reserved for internal military contractors. That was the first signal that someone was disguising shipments as sensitive government deliveries. FBI, DEA, and HSI immediately joined forces, forming an interagency unit of cyber, financial, and field agents. With court orders in hand, they tapped the phone lines of dispatchers and logistics managers at several West Texas firms. But the lines stayed quiet. Only short bursts of data were being transmitted. It was HSI cyber specialists who uncovered the reason. The network communicated through closed VoIP channels that auto-erased call logs every 12 hours, the same mechanism used by certain drivers whose navigation devices rewrote their routes after each trip. Gradually, a structure emerged. Cargo from San Diego and Laredo entered through private terminals, was handled by shell logistics companies, and moved to hidden warehouses across West Texas. Terminal brokers filed falsified customs declarations, and drivers received instructions through single-use chat keys. Investigators tailed multiple trucks and noticed that dozens of routes led to the same empty buildings registered to companies in the Cayman Islands and Panama. A parallel analysis of financial flows revealed the second half of the scheme. Payments for services and supplies were made in cryptocurrency, then laundered through a chain of mixing wallets before landing in accounts held by technical suppliers in Miami and Guadalajara. This is how the cartel concealed the purchase of high-precision components that could be converted into autonomous weapons units. Part of the funds passed through pseudo-laboratory corporations filing documents to import sensor modules and aerospace assemblies, terms that helped avoid strict regulatory scrutiny. The investigation lasted 7 months. Agents had to conduct undercover purchases, register several fake companies, and interact with brokers who had no idea they were dealing with a federal task force. By that stage, investigators already understood this wasn't simple smuggling. It was a full engineering and logistics platform built by La Corona del Oriente on U.S. soil. But the real trigger for the operation was an anomaly that shifted the entire tempo of the case. During routine monitoring, agents noticed something unusual. One of the drivers whose navigation system was supposed to auto-erase its route failed to do so. Real-time log files revealed the coordinates of a temporary warehouse that had never appeared in the database. Within hours, the surveillance team documented the unloading of crates with markings matching the paperwork of several other shell companies. For the first time, investigators had the complete supply chain in real time. That was the point of no return. Analysts confirmed that the so-called modules weren't equipment parts, but assembly kits for unregulated weapon systems that could be activated within hours. The scale of the network and its technical discipline, from encrypted routes to financial tunnels, meant only one thing: waiting any longer was impossible. At that moment, federal agencies gave the green light for a multi-state operation designed to cut off the cartel's terminals, assembly hubs, and financial channels in a single coordinated strike. The cartel's network functioned like a multidisciplinary crime factory where every branch, narcotics, weapons, human trafficking, technological smuggling, operated as part of a single conveyor system. Its strength lay not in any one product, but in a flexible logistics chain capable of redirecting flows between different markets depending on demand and risk. The cartel sourced chemical precursors from intermediaries in Central America and Asia, masking them as industrial reagents or manufacturing catalysts. In West Texas, micro-laboratories operated as mobile brigades. Equipment was stored inside shipping containers, and personnel rotated between sites to avoid detection. These labs produced synthetic mixtures for drug parcels, some of which were distributed through a network of nightclubs and pseudo-therapeutic clinics. The deadly danger of this scheme was scale. A single batch of concentrate could yield up to 300,000 doses, and 4 production lines were active at the same time. Under the guise of technical components, the cartel transported targeting electronics, muzzle devices, trigger assembly parts, and other weapon elements which, when combined with 3D printing and single-use milling rigs, became fully functional, unregulated firearms. The chain was precise: suppliers in Mexico, warehouses in California, a hub in West Texas, assembly crews in rented workshops, retail couriers. Shipments moved in small but frequent loads, up to 1,900 kits per week. This was the least visible yet one of the most profitable sectors. The same trucks that carried modules also transported people whom the cartel exploited as labor, keeping them in guarded basement facilities. Their documents were confiscated, movement tracked by GPS bracelets, and transport debts were artificially inflated to make them fully dependent. Some victims were pushed into construction subcontracting or shadow factories. Others were sold into criminal brothels and dens. Payments were conducted through auto-mixing cryptocurrency wallets that generated new addresses every few minutes. Funds moved through Panama, Mexico, and Costa Rica before settling in clean companies on the U.S. coast that officially handled technical imports or logistics consulting. This allowed millions to be laundered while leaving no trace in traditional banking systems. Certain shipments contained sensitive microchips, sensor platforms, stabilization systems, and other components under export control. These were the most valuable assets routed through intermediaries to South America and the Middle East. This technological smuggling alarmed federal agencies the most. It gave the cartel not just money, but geopolitical weight, granting access to equipment that could be used in military systems or intelligence platforms. Polystructural design, combining narcotics, weapons, human trafficking, and technological exports, made the cartel self-sustaining. Flexible logistics, routes updated every 12 hours. Drivers used auto-erasing navigation. Warehouses could disappear from locations within a day. Mass casualty potential. A single batch of weapon modules or synthetic concentrates could cause destruction on the scale of an entire city. International reach. The supply chain included Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, offshore jurisdictions, and technical brokers in the United States. The La Corona del Oriente network was dangerous not because it generated money, but because it fused human resources, high-end technology, weapons, and narcotics into a single operating mechanism that could function with impunity for years, until this morning, when it finally stopped. Planning for the operation began long before the first battering ram hit the door. For 5 weeks, federal agencies, FBI, DEA, and HSI, built a unified command center in El Paso. merging data from wiretaps, satellite surveillance, and human intelligence. Local police and sheriff's departments were also brought in, providing information on vehicle movements, warehouse owners, and potential escape routes for the cartel's guards. That's how the first assault map emerged, a detailed schematic of every entry point, internal corridor, generator location, camera angle, and possible defensive position. FBI cartographers created a 3D model of the facility, and tactical units spent several nights rehearsing all likely resistance scenarios: vehicle breakouts, arson attempts, booby traps, and gate blockades. The decision to strike today came after intelligence detected the start of a new transit cycle, a shipment headed to Texas that could be the final component needed for the cartel to dissolve its structure at the slightest hint of exposure. Analysts also warned that one of the cartel's logistics coordinators was preparing an urgent departure for Mexico. Any delay risked losing key figures and forcing the entire scheme to reset. So on the night before the operation, rapid response teams were placed on high alert, and additional SRT and SWAT units were deployed to El Paso. At 4:30 a.m., all teams took their positions. 20 minutes later, the assault began. The fight itself lasted less than 20 minutes, but it was brutally intense. Several cartel guards attempted to break out in an armored pickup, showing the level of their training and equipment. Even so, the defenses collapsed quickly. Agents seized more than 850 fully assembled devices, 40,000 rounds of ammunition, and nearly $3.2 million in cash. Evidence that the warehouse was not just a transit point, but a major financial hub for the cartel. While Texas teams cleared the warehouse, HSI launched a simultaneous precision strike in California, targeting the cartel's financial nerve center, an office complex in Irvine. Inside, behind the facade of a consulting firm, agents discovered a full-scale processing hub. During the search, they froze nearly $84 million across corporate accounts and seized the primary server containing over 400 transactions, mapping money flows between Central America, offshore funds, and Texas-based logistics companies. The seizures at other locations were equally staggering. Over 120 of synthetic mixtures and concentrates, enough to produce more than 1.8 million lethal doses. Many substances were stored in laboratory capsules with fake medical labels. In addition to the 850 assembled devices in Texas, agents located another 300 unfinished units, dozens of 3D printing setups, 40,000 rounds, suppressors, optics, and stabilization modules. Beyond the warehouse cache, agents found 7 cryptocurrency wallets holding more than 6.4 million, multiple hidden safes containing euros and Mexican pesos, and an entire room fitted for fake accounting operations. Hundreds of forged IDs, passports with replaced pages, transport certificates, and counterfeit licenses for importing technical modules. Server racks, hardened routers, frequency hopping radios, disposable encryptors, laptops with wiped drives, and FPGA-based backup systems. Across 3 sites, agents discovered 23 trafficked workers, 5 couriers, and 2 mid-level coordinators. Most were under cartel control. No documents, no freedom of movement, constant surveillance. All of this confirmed a critical truth. The network was not a chaotic criminal group, but a tightly organized, multi-layered system combining high technology, narcotics trafficking, and financial pipelines that brushed up against national security thresholds. According to investigators, La Corona del Oriente built a model that made the cartel almost untouchable. It embedded itself inside legitimate U.S. infrastructure, using logistics companies, brokers, and private terminals as if they were part of its own network. This mimicry, the ability to blend seamlessly with lawful commerce, allowed it to expand faster than law enforcement could map its evolving schemes. Agents say the danger lay in the hybrid nature of the model. The cartel moved weapons, narcotics, technological components, and people simultaneously, optimizing routes based on risk. This wasn't a smuggling pipeline. It was a shadow ecosystem, HSI officials said. The scheme persisted for so long because its links were dispersed and interchangeable. Shell companies vanished without a trace. Drivers operated using single-use keys, and financial channels ran through cryptocurrency mixers that left virtually no records. What broke the case was a courier's unexpected change in behavior and an intercepted radio channel, which allowed agents to see the entire system rather than isolated fragments. "We didn't just find a route, we found the brain behind it," an FBI representative stated. DEA officials added, "Today we severed the backbone of the network. What remains are fragments that cannot function without this infrastructure. Compared to previous operations against Latin American cartels, this one was unique, not because of the volume of seized contraband, but because of the depth of penetration into U.S. civilian logistics. Agents had to decode a system built not on brute force, but on engineering discipline and financial invisibility. Preliminary assessments indicate that today's raids crippled key supply channels, and the cartel will not be able to recover quickly. But investigators warn that the fight is far from over. Parts of the network may attempt to reconfigure themselves. We won the battle, but the campaign continues. The difference now is that we finally understand how this machine works on the inside, one of the operations coordinators said. Despite more than 820 arrests, agents caution that the network may have left behind autonomous branches capable of resurfacing. But today's strike, the most powerful in years, shattered the cartel's foundation for the first time. We broke their system, but the fight isn't over, investigators said. The road ahead promises more operations. The network is shaking. The war continues.